Hey guys, Collecting America's Pastime here. Second video, less than 24 hours since my first video. So, doing these pretty quickly, I guess. The first video, thank you guys so much for the response. I really appreciate the comments, interaction, the likes, the subscriptions, etc. You guys are awesome, and that was pretty cool to see. Huge special shout out to Mike, baseball collector. He gave me a shout out this morning, a very genuine shout out, and he actually commented on one of the comments left on his videos today, and said that, or asked if I had seen his subscription jump since this morning, and he said yes. Or I said I have, but I was joking and said, no, why? Did you do something? And so, absolutely awesome from him. He does great stuff. He's actually one of the inspirations of why I did, or started a YouTube channel. And his videos, they make you want to collect. And that is, to me, the point of joining the YouTube community, or one of the main points. And so I really appreciate him for the shout out, and looking forward to interacting with him as we go. But hope you guys have had a good Thursday so far. We have Thursday night football tonight, Arizona Cardinals and Denver Broncos. I'm not a fan of really either one, but definitely would have to go with the Cardinals tonight, as I have three of them on my fantasy football team. Defensive player, Buda Baker, Arizona defense, special teams, and then David Johnson. So I need big nights out of all of them. And I have no Broncos. Plus, I'm a Browns fan. Even though I wasn't born during the time of the late 80s when it was the Browns and Broncos, I will never forgive John Elway. It's just in my blood. So you grow up with the fumble. You grow up with the drive, hearing about it, I should say, and it sticks with you. So... But anyways, tonight I wanted to do another video pretty close in time to the first one. Reason being, number one, I'm not sure if I'll be able to post a video this weekend. These next couple days, I have to get the backyard ready for a Halloween party, which we might not even get to use because it's supposed to rain and possibly snow here in Ohio on Saturday night. Winter's approaching very quickly, which I'm not looking forward to, but so I will be busy with that, and the honey-do list. No matter how many things you check off that list, it never shrinks. So, and this is one of them. But I want to do a video first of all to thank you guys for the response on the first video, Mike and company, and for the welcoming into the community. Second of all, I wanted to explain why I started, a YouTube channel, and I explained a little bit to begin with. I want to grow the hobby. Mike mentioned in his video, you don't see too many 24-year-olds collecting vintage, pre-war, etc. Especially with the appreciation that I feel I have for those eras and those cards. And to me, it's a little bit of a shame. And I'll get to that here in a second, but I guess I'll get to it now. I collect what I do because I'll share a quote I sent another collector this morning. I said, I think the most underappreciated aspect of baseball is its history, and I think growth of the game is synonymous with recognizing its history, roots, and importance in American history. And I truly believe that. I think Manfred's actually horrible for baseball. I don't think he understands or gets where the connection comes from with, especially, Americans, but baseball fans in general, baseball and its fans. And shortening the game, to me, is ridiculous. Why would you want to shorten the amount of time of father and son, mother-daughter, father-daughter, mother-son? I got that right. Why would you want to shorten the time they can spend together, or just a family in general? Um, I digress a little bit, but I think that's part of the roots. And as well, collecting's part of the roots. The earliest cards were in the 1800s, and they tell a story. You see the how attire, uniforms, equipment, etc. changed. You see how the game has changed. There are so many stories in pre-war that we'll get into, but there are so many stories that talk about different the differences in today's game versus the old game. Pre-war is light years different than opposite end of the spectrum, different from where we are today. My buddy Max A. Jackson, he sent me a story the other day that there was a spitball that instead of spit they used horse poo to change, to on pitches. I think it was Connie Mack, which is great. Connie Mack's real name is Cornelius McGillicuddy, for those of you who didn't know. I know why he went by Connie Mack, but Cornelius McGillicuddy's up there in the Hall of Fame of names. But he used he had his pitcher use horse poo. So there's all these stories, and you see the progression of the game and how we've gotten to where we are today. You see where it fits in with American history. Negro leagues to allowing black players into the MLB. Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, etc. I watched one person's video. I forget whose it was. I don't know if it was Snoop or somebody else, but they were talking about, I think it was Ray Dandridge, who was supposed to be the first black player in the major leagues, and he was supposed to sign with the Indians, my team, and Bill Veeck had him ready to come, and then he decided he was too. I really appreciated in, I believe, Mexico, and then also was too old to join baseball. So I appreciated that story from. I forget who shared it, but I appreciate that story. And there's just so many of those stories that you see the progression, you see the connection, and it's lost. We talk about stars today, and stuff like that, and every sport has stars. Basketball has, unfortunately, LeBron. I'm not a LeBron fan, even though I live 10 minutes from him. I'm not a LeBron fan. But basketball has LeBron, Steph, etc. Football has Tom Brady and other stars. Hockey has its own stars. Tennis has stars. Every sport has stars. Baseball is the only sport to me that is truly connected with American history, with American culture, with life, and I love it. So that's why I collect, and I think videos. That's part of the reason why I started a video, is to kind of share that passion for the connection. The other reason was I saw a video, and again, I'm sorry of who it was. I was just watching videos, and they talked about why they started videos, or why they do videos. And they said collections collect dust, and this is not verbatim, but they said collections collect dust, and they're supposed to be shared. So that really resonated with me, because mine just sit in my man cave and in my collection, and I don't get to share them too often. Why not share them? And so this is an outlet to share with the world, pieces of history, and I'm excited to do that. Now, why I collect what I do, I'll do this real quick. Growing up, I got into the Dan Gutman books, Blank and Me. So it was either Honus and Me. I think that was the first one. Honus and Me. There was Jackie and Me. Jim and Me. I think that was Jim Thorpe. There's tons of these. And it was about a kid from Louisville, who had modern baseball cards and found in the attic a T206 Honus Wagner in his neighbor's attic. And when he touched the card, his fingers tingled, and when he held the card long enough, he would be transported back in time of whatever card he was holding. He'd bring a pack of modern baseball cards with him and return to the present time, but it would tell you the story of some of the players, some of the life, or not really life, but the time frame that some of these players grew up in, Jackie, Honus, etc. And from ever since, I've always wanted to collect vintage pre-war. Got to be to the point where I was making my own money, making enough money to buy some of these cards. And I mean, I have the bug. Let me tell you, I have the bug of collecting these cards. So that's really what catapulted me into vintage and pre-war. There's also the stories behind the cards, which I'll show you. This right here is something pretty cool. It's a collection of cards that I put on display in my man cave. I don't really put too many cards on display, but that's one of them. I'll get into that here in a second. But there's stories behind cards that are not necessarily well known. So, and in fact, I'll do this right now. So this is my display. There's, let's see, 20 cards. It goes from pre-war to modern. There's stories behind every single one of them, though. Let's start from left to right. This is Willie Cam, 1933 Gowdy. This is my first ever pre-war card. Absolutely love this card, and I cracked it out of a slab, but it displays pretty nicely on this, so I'm not even mad. This is Bob Roth. Bob Roth. This is a 1916 M101. Some of them came with backs. I think this either has a famous and bar back, or is blank. I forget which one. But I got him because Tyler Naquin a couple of years ago for the Indians hit a inside the park walk-off home run against the Blue Jays. He was the second Indian ever to do that, and Bob Roth was the first. Once I learned that, I sought after a Bob Roth card. Well, I sought to find if there was one, and I found out there was one, and this was it. This is the one I got. I also found out that the Indians acquired him. As you can see, he's in a White Sox uniform. The Indians acquired him in a trade for Shoeless Joe Jackson. So I think the White Sox got the better end of that deal, but you can try to change my mind. This is Grover Hartley. This is a 1917 Collins McCarthy. I have another one I'll show you the back of when I do my Grover Hartley video. I have a lot. I know I've mentioned Grover Hartley a lot. I will do my own video for Grover, but I need to get a few things around and do it right. So I'll explain the connection I have to him at some point. These two are Mo Berg and Lieutenant James Doolittle. Mo Berg is the catcher who was a spy. In the interest of time, I'll let you guys look up his story, but he is fascinating. He took photos of the Japanese skyline that Lieutenant James Doolittle ended up using for the Doolittle raid on Tokyo, I believe. I'm sorry, not Japanese skyline, Tokyo skyline, that Lieutenant James Doolittle ended up using for the Doolittle raid on Tokyo in response to Pearl Harbor and what's shown at the end of the movie Pearl Harbor. So that's 33 Gowdy and 1933 or 34 Skybirds. This is the Bill Ripken FF card. You guys know what is on that knob. These are Tomy's. That's Tomy's second best rookie right here, and then two other Tomy's, favorite player of all time. More modern card of Grover Hartley. Big Akron Zips fan, like I said. Their soccer program's second to none. And this is Teal Bunbury, plays in the pros now. Dominic Hickson, very good Zips wide receiver. Charlie Fry played for the Browns, Seahawks, Raiders, etc. Also Charlie Fry. Mike Fratello, autograph. This is a card given to me by my dad when I was younger. Always kept it. Corey Stringer. I bought this card at the local card shop when I was real young. It was my first ever football card. I used to collect only baseball cards, and my mom asked me why I wanted this one. He died a few days before I bought this from a heat stroke, and I just always thought it was interesting to have it. This is Kevin Tillman, and this is Pat Tillman right here. Kevin Tillman played in the Indians farm system. He's the brother of Pat Tillman, I'm sure you guys know the Pat Tillman story, tragic story, and one of my heroes. I read his book in 5th grade, or a book about him in 5th grade, and he's always been one of my heroes ever since. The guy gave up football, a $1 million career in football, to serve his country, and forever indebted to him, because especially because he gave the ultimate sacrifice. So this is Jason McElwain. If you guys have ever seen the video of the kid, I forget which disease he had, but he was the team manager for his high school team. Got in when he was a senior, and went off for like 20-some points, and he was featured on SportsCenter. So I got this from 07 Allen Ginter. And then this is Eric LeGrand. I got this one, inspirational story. It was drafted, I forget the story a little bit, but he ended up being paralyzed either after being drafted or before being drafted. He was drafted by the Buccaneers, and when the injury occurred and he was disabled, they signed him to a lifetime contract to take care of his medical bills and treatments and stuff like that. He's part of the team still, I believe. Very, very cool story. And so as you can see, some of these are just very inspirational. But yeah, the rest of them, they all have a story behind them. So that's the display I keep. That's, again, why I wanted to do videos, why I collect what I do. There's stories. I want to share those stories. And really, really am looking forward to doing so. Now, there's something else I wanted to do. Well, there's 2 more things. Number one, I need to talk about the spreadsheet. So I mentioned yesterday, in the description in the video yesterday, and in my channel description, is a link to my spreadsheet. That spreadsheet is paramount in what I collect. It catalogs everything from my Hall of Fame collection. Now, my Hall of Fame collection, I'll explain this because it's going to be a big part of the channel. I decided to collect per era differently. Now, I'm going to change this up at some point, and I'll get to that later, but the first era is pre-war, which is pre-1947, pre-1948 really, but so anything up to then. If a player played in that time, if their rookie card fell in that time period, I wanted to get a playing days or involvement card if possible. And so that is just because you can't do rookie card on a budget, really. Not that there's really a budget for pre-war, but it's harder to do the rookie cards, especially with like Cobb and some of these guys, Delahunty, Burkett. They're real buggers. So, but yeah, so pre-war, any playing days or involvement card, if possible. Post-war, 1948 through 1979, I wanted to do their last card, which is something that Mike, baseball collector, does, and I did it raw, in pretty low condition for some of them, but yeah, so it's their last card if their rookie card fell in that time frame, 48 to 79. Modern, which is 80 to present, I'm doing their rookie card. So, without further ado, here's the spreadsheet. All right, so here's the spreadsheet. First and foremost, you should see the jerry-rig contraption I pulled up to get this at screen level and not have to hold it. So this is this is the spreadsheet. First and foremost, if you have any interest in organizing your collection with a spreadsheet but aren't too experienced with Excel or want some help, let me know. I'm not the most experienced, but the more I work with it, the more I get better at it, and I love Excel. Absolutely love it. So, as you can see here, sorry, it went out of focus. As you can see here, if you look at the top left up here, I have number of classes, complete classes, and percentage complete for the classes. So these are all the classes. I've got formulas out the rear end going through here that calculate this. You have the year, the primary position, primary team, career, name, quantity acquired, which this really should just be acquired, but quantity acquired works as well. And then some of them, the card and card year and type. Some of them aren't really card year, but it is type. How much I paid for the card to keep track of that. And then up here you have the total number of Hall of Famers, 323, the percentage complete, and the amount I have. So I have 56.66%. Believe that's updated. I need to double check on that, but I believe that's updated. And then I had a little help with a buddy of mine, Troy. He is like a master Excel person, and he worked with me on this, but I wanted to break it down by position as well, and I have it pretty much done. The only thing that I think is broken might be two here. I think Pioneers is fine. I don't think I have any Pioneers, but other. I don't know if other works. Regardless, I have 48 of 79 pitchers, 8 of 18 catchers, 13 of 24 first basemen, etc., etc. So it shows the number of players per position, DH, executives, managers, umpires, Pioneers, and other, and then the number I have of each. So I have this broken down, and scroll down. I'll share the link in this description as well. But I love this spreadsheet. I'm quite proud of this spreadsheet, not to toot my own horn, but it's fun. I love going through this, adding to it, knocking cards out. It's really addicting. It's kind of my own little set registry, because I don't really do too much PSA. A lot of it's raw, but and I know SGC is coming out with their own registry. Excuse you, buddy. Sorry, my dog just yawned. But I know SGC is coming up with their own registry. I might do more of that, but I don't know yet. So I have it updated through the previous class, which is 2018. I have all of them, and so yeah, check it out. But the last thing I wanted to do was kind of showcase a little bit my first mail day. I got some cards from somebody, and for free, actually. It was a good, really, really nice gesture by him. And then also, I got a T206 in. So let's get to those, and I'll wrap this up. I really, really apologize for the time of this, or length of this video. All right, so like I said, got a couple cards. The T206 is an upgrade. It ended up costing me, I think, a couple bucks to upgrade to a much better condition. It is an Iron McGinnity. His nickname is Iron Man. Move this up here. His nickname is Iron Man. He played in a ton of consecutive games, I believe. Played injured. Really, just a brute of a guy. And this is an SGC 1.5. It has a crease, as you can see, through the face, horizontally through the card. It's from his minor league days in Newark, and this is towards the end of his career, I believe. And the back is a 350 subjects, factory 25, as all 350s are. Now, the one thing I missed on this, I don't typically like writing on mine, and I missed this in the listing, but it has the name, I believe, Joe P. written in the back of it. Maybe Joe Paterno owned this card. Maybe it was, I don't know, some other guy named Joe P. But hopefully could be famous. But yeah, it's not that. I know there's a bunch of mixed feelings about Joe Pa, but not to introduce controversy, but yeah, that I missed that, but I might upgrade at some point. I'm okay with this for now. And yeah, then the other stuff I got from a Facebook buddy, Tim. He knows I collect Tomy and Indians, and offered me some cards for free. And I mean, I'm gonna pay it forward at some point here. I gotta pull some cards to see that. I gotta pull some cards to give away, and I'll give away some cards to some people to pay it forward, because I really appreciate this, and you always want to treat people the way you want to be treated. So, and if somebody does a good gesture for you, it's always good to pay it forward. But there's a good stack here, as you can see. I'll kind of go through these pretty quickly. This is a mascot for the Vermont Lake Monsters, which he was explaining to me have pumped out quite a few famous pros. Slider. Bowman Finest. Jason Kipnis, who I'm hoping the Indians trade, numbered to 250. Corey Kluber, one of my favorite pitchers and Indians of all time. This is numbered to 750. And then the rest are Tomys. So Tomy. Oh, this is getting real bad. I'm sorry. Tomy. Tominator, James Howard Tomy. I mean, there's just tons of Tomys here. I need to go through and double check which ones I have, which ones I don't have. There's actually a good amount of these I don't have, which is somewhat hard to find for me. I have a lot, but I really appreciate it, Tim. Thank you very much for the cards. It will not go passed forward, I guess. And yeah, again, thank you very much. And sorry for the length of this video. It's harder to keep these shorter than what I realized, especially when you tend to ramble. So I apologize for that. I'll try to get better. And I'm hoping to have a pretty big mail day this weekend. And that would be the only reason I would take time to do a video this weekend, is if I get the cards. I'm hoping if the cards come in at the right time, I'll do a video, and it'll be a pretty exciting one. So thanks for watching. Hope it wasn't too cringeworthy, and look forward to connecting with you guys here on the flip side. Have a good night, and again, go Cardinals, I guess. One last thing, sorry to add to the length of this video, but I wanted to ask the question. I'm going to do a playlist of the Hall of Fame Project Showcase, and as you saw on the spreadsheet, I have it broken down by class. Would you like to see it in chronological order? So, and then show progression. I apologize, my dogs are crying. I'll take them out here in a second. But would you like to see it in chronological order, despite lack of completion for the in the classes, and then show progression as I complete them? Or would you like to see the completed classes, no matter in random order, as long as they're 100% complete? Comment below with what you'd like to see, and looking forward to hearing your responses. Thank you very much, and enjoy your night.